So it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Sheila Clemenson. She is the owner of Transitions Coaching Services. Um, she is a certified career coach and HR consultant with over 20 years of experience in hiring, coaching, and advising job seekers, employees, and management in a variety of industries. Sheila helps professionals move forward through career transitions. She provides strategies, resources, and expertise in guiding her clients to opportunities better aligned with her skills, experiences, strengths, and values. Clients tell her she helps with greater clarity, stronger confidence, and the ability to make more successful decisions, which I am sure all of us need. And her topic today is job search fatigue, which I'm sure all of us have experienced at some point, if not right now. So, Sheila, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. I appreciate being invited to talk with all of you today. And I view this more as a discussion than like a firm presentation, right? Job search fatigue is something that is very real, of course. And I just want to discuss this topic because I really want to connect with people where they're feeling with this, in particular, if you're experiencing it right now. Um, where I kind of came to this topic is working with a client who had started working with me well before she got laid off from her current employer. And she wasn't challenged by her position any longer. And she was really looking for a much broader position. Um, with that being said, we worked together. Then she, did her own thing, and then she got laid off. And this is by a big company. Um, they brought an outreach group in. Within that outreach group, she was working with various career consultants, and then she was continuing to still work with me. When I asked her, I said, you have all this access to other career coaches, people doing your resumes, all of this, nuts and bolts of the job search. Why are you still working with me? Because I was very, very curious about what that was about. And she said, because I get more than just working with you as a career coach. And I said, well, tell me a little bit more about that. And she said, I get some inspiration. I am, you're helping me manage and move through this job search process in a way that is not always just the nuts and bolts of the job search, making sure my resume is good, although you help me with that, interviewing skills, all of these different things. But, you kind of serve as a little bit of a life coach along with that career coaching kind of piece. So that's a good bridge for me. And, where I'm going with that is career design, lifestyle design, how we do work life balance is so much a part of this great resignation that people are coming to now, right? There are so many clients who are coming in to me saying, should I stay or should I go? I don't know what's best for me. Is the grass greener on the other side of the street because there's so much movement? And, sometimes, I'm helping them kind of sift through that to kind of see. Now, there are people who, have decided that they want to leave, and then they're going through the motions in the process of searching for these positions. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these people, several of my clients over the last 2 months have quit their jobs they hated, that they were burned out in and they couldn't do anymore, to look for a position. And then, they're finding their way into this job search fatigue, that it's harder than they thought that it might be, right? Because they hadn't been in this job search world for a while. Okay. And so, we can look at how long it takes people to find positions. And it'd be so interesting to know what all of you have found with how long you've been doing BoulderNet. If you took an average of how many times people came, how long they said they were looking, and then how long it took them to find something. That's often a question that clients will ask me, right? And I always say it really depends on how competitive of a candidate you are and how saturated your job market is. That is a formula for how quickly are you going to get a position that you're qualified for, that you want to do. Now, if I tell my clients and I say, if you're looking for a job, and you put yourself out there, if you are looking for a job like it is a full-time job for you, if the market is fairly plentiful in positions, you are fairly competitive as a candidate, it's going to take you a minimum of 3 to 4 months. And that is totally based on even knowing how long it takes companies to go through their recruiting and hiring process, which is a minimum of 1 to 2 months if they even know that you're the person they want and they've got to put you through their system. So when I say, to somebody, I'll say 4 to 6 months. That is typically, if you're a good candidate, you know what you're going for, and your market is fairly open, that's how long it's going to take you. If we then start looking at, that the market, you're maybe not as competitive as you need to be, maybe you have some preferred requirements that you don't have and you're getting put into another pile, then you got to look at what's stopping that. Then you start looking at, okay, well, maybe it's 9 to 12 months, and maybe 9 to 12 months is a realistic amount, depending on what position you're going to, if it's a higher level and you're planning to make more money, which is maybe above $75,000 to $100,000 a year. There become less candidates and they become more picky about who they're selecting and why they're selecting them, right? Which is really an alignment of your values. So I wanted to just give you that perspective, as we're talking about this, because I think the foundation of that perspective is that I don't have a crystal ball. I can't guarantee somebody's going to get a job. I can be a connector. I can help people find that. I'm not a headhunter, but I find that there is this level of impatience that like sometimes people are at where they're like, you have to do the work to find that position. And so many people, I have a client just recently who's like, I want you to find me a job. I'm not a recruiter. I'm not the job search person, right? Everybody wants somebody to find them a job. Yes, if you are in an industry and you are in a position that is harder to find, yes, go to a staffing company and a recruiting firm that focuses in that area, and they will help you because their payoff is vested in your success, right? But you have to care more about finding a job than I care about finding a job for you as a career coach, right? And so, yes, there is a lot of hard work that's tied to this job search. And we're going to talk about that. Because if you are doing everything that you need to do, you are going to get to a place of job search fatigue. And that just tells you that you're getting closer to where you need to be and you're going to find that position. And in fact, the more job search fatigue that you have, the closer you are to connecting and building momentum in your job search. Okay, so that's where I'm going to go with that. I want to also invite anyone, if you have any questions during my presentation and you want to say anything, this is a discussion, so I want to open it up to people, okay? And I'm going to be asking you some questions as we go along so that this can be a little bit more of a robust conversation. Takeaways. And I want to say, really, truly, this is not just about thinking about things differently, although you start with that. It is about doing things differently. And by doing things differently, sometimes anything, no matter how stupid the idea you think it is or not, could always lead to something really exciting and interesting. Okay. And I want to say that the universe is more brilliant than we are. Okay. And whatever your spiritual, religious connections are, the universe is smarter than we are. And we're often led places that we don't know where we're being led. We don't know what's going to come from it, but just sometimes we need to pay attention. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. With regard to, when I left my job, I ran out of Boulder Community Health with my hair on fire and job burnout in 2017. Okay. I love BCH. It's an amazing health organization. I love the people there, but it's a nonprofit, one of just 3 in the state. Denver Health, Children's Hospital are the others. And I was doing 2.5 to 3 jobs. Okay. When I left there, I was recruiting for the entire clinical department, 140 positions during the nursing shortage, and UC Health was stealing all of our people, which rightfully so, they were offering them really amazing things. And I was doing HR business partner, HR advisor work where I was doing employee relations, really intense investigations within a whole lot of different departments, clinical and non-clinical. It was really pretty insane. When I left, I decided to read this amazing book that I thought was really cool. And the book that I read was by Shonda Rhimes. She is the creator of Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, all these other shows. It's now Bridgerton that she's a part of now too, okay? Now, I don't know if the men like watch all of these. The ladies may be familiar with it, and maybe the men, it's a guilty pleasure, I don't know. But I tell you about this because she wrote a book that is called My Year of Saying Yes. What's fabulous about this is she decided she was going to take a year and say yes to everything. She was going to say yes to everything that came in. She was not going to pass judgment about what she thought it was going to bring her, how stupid the idea was, whether it was something that was going to fit within what she wanted to do. She decided she was going to say yes to whatever came in. Now, in some cases, this could be exhausting because she was really, truly an introvert and she needed to do more extroverted things, okay? But I'm going to tell you, her year of saying yes created the Shonda Rhimes empire that she has right now, okay? And where I'm going with that is I decided I was going to say yes. And as a new business owner, I was an entrepreneur. This was my third business. The other two didn't do as well, but they were passion projects. And I decided, I'm like, I came out of BCH. I'm like, who am I and what I do? I help people connect with what they do professionally. It's what I do in every single way, whether I do it as an HR advisor or a recruiter, I do it as a career consultant. This is what I do. And so I decided that in starting my own business, I went and I got a career development certification. Gordon knows a little bit about probably that story with Linda Sollers. I filled the holes in that I didn't feel that I had, that I felt that I needed, although I had this very big HR background. Well, I want to say what's really interesting about that is I did some things that I did not think that I needed to do, okay? I went out, I did some networking and recruiting. Why didn't I think that I needed to do that? I did know that I needed to do that. I want you all to know I'm a double extrovert and I was still apprehensive about putting myself out there and networking, okay? Because it's scary. It's weird. You're meeting with people you don't know. It's not something that most people feel comfortable doing. You're not going to feel comfortable meeting new people. There's just something that you're not going to be comfortable in. Okay. Well, I went to a networking event. I started talking to some really interesting people, and they're like, you need to join this leads group. I'm like, going, why the heck am I going to join a leads group to sell my business with a bunch of other business professionals? And I'm a career coach. They're not looking for a career coach. Okay. But what I found was a really amazing group of people when I went to this meeting. And I decided to join. And I'm still a part of this group. And I am an ambassador with the chamber. And I actually got I got Solo Business of the Year last year with the Superior Chamber. Okay. What I want you to know is this limited thinking with me not even knowing that this leads group was going to bring me any leads with career coaching and whatever I thought that it was going to be. It helped me build my reputation in the community with my integrity and professionalism as a career coach that people can work with. Okay. And so my narrow, short, limited thinking really, if I didn't say yes to all these opportunities because I didn't know what it was going to bring me, I would have never created the business that I have 5 years later that I have today, where I actually just got my worldwide client through a Google search. She is an Indian woman who lives in Dubai, who is looking for a job in Toronto, Canada, and she's using me as a career coach, as an American career coach, okay? I am officially a worldwide career coach. And so I'm celebrating that, and I find it intriguing and interesting, but the world is really small. So what I'm, saying about that is, if you think limited and narrow-minded, that is where you're going to stay. So actually being broader and being invited in and taking advantage of those opportunities, no matter what you think that they're going to give you, is something that is very powerful. Okay. So where are we going today? And I know that we have 20 minutes, give or take. Finding support and inspiration. We're going to talk more about more of that because we all need it. Reconnecting with your why and your values. You need to know why you want the position that you want. We're going to talk more about the whys and the values connected with where you're going, which is very important. We're going to look at refreshing with an objective resume review. What is that all about? You're going to find out. We're going to take a break to re-energize. And we're going to talk about building momentum. Okay. These are 5 little takeaways that I want you to have from today with job search fatigue. And so we're going to jump into all of that. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to say or add? No? Okay. Finding support and inspiration. What is frustrating you about your job search? Does anyone want to throw out some things that's frustrating? And just get it off your chest. Or if you were frustrated in the past, what was frustrating you?
I'll share something. I think it was noticing that because so many jobs went remote, now everybody it's broader. People can apply from different places, which is fantastic. But then you're now competing with hundreds of people when you're applying for a job, and it just seems like unlikely and very dire, and yeah, it's easy to get discouraged.
Absolutely, Hari. With the pandemic, our job search world has completely blown up and changed for the better for people who love remote work, but that is a double-edged sword, right? And where we go with that, of course, is anybody can apply from any place, and you no longer know even who you're up against with the number of candidates that you can apply, right? And so, and this is where I'm very thoughtful about where you want to work and where you're in alignment with your values with organizations, because if then you can start looking at organizations within an industry or companies within an industry that fit your ideal company. That's why I love you guys talking about companies. You can then start being a little bit more strategic and intentional in your job search with regard to the particular companies that you are interested in working for. If you cast the net too wide, you're going to be spinning your wheels. And so really narrowing that focus and really trying to be more specific is going to help you see the bullseye a little bit better, for you to kind of refine your search with that a little bit more. So that's just kind of a separate job search strategy that I really encourage people to do. And that is a research project in the bigger sense of that too. You're researching the different companies. Who hires remotely? What does that look like? Right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. What else is frustrating you?
This is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Part of what you just said is a big part of, I know what industries I want to be in and that I feel comfortable and are my target industries. It doesn't mean I won't go outside of that. However, sometimes looking for a job that is a fit, even if you think, okay, I'll apply for the job if I have 60 to 70% of the skills, which is a general form they tell you to do. I need a good company. I have to have insurance. And I don't want to do this again. So it's like, this is like my second time around year before last, I had to do it. And so I'm like, I would want to go to a company that's gonna need me as much as I need them. And, you know, you're right. Sometimes getting into where you think you might be a good fit is really hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want to plant with that, Carol, is these staffing companies like Robert Half, staffing company in Boulder, they're all over the place.
Yep.
The reason why I like them is because companies need so much help that they're trying, that they're just putting opportunities out there and they need somebody to fill it. And bigger companies are doing that as well.
Yes.
So I would say that, you know, don't be afraid to throw your hat in the ring in a staffing agency or to, you know, connect with some contractor kinds of gigs in the short term to see if you'll be hired directly from those, because companies love to be able to try people on before they invest a lot of money into them. And there are a lot of different opportunities, not just admin kinds of positions that people are hiring for to do that. And with you looking at that program manager kind of a role, you may be a really good candidate to connect with an employer that's looking to bring somebody in on a short-term basis. But once you're in on a short-term basis, they're not going to want to lose you and they're going to be more motivated to find a position for you. So that's just kind of just something that's coming to me for you.
Thank you.
Another
you
thing too,
yeah.
if you're looking to stay in a location and really looking for stability, consider the government jobs. They may not pay well, but they have the health benefits and they're very stable. Essentially, a government is a business that can't fail. I mean, even Orange County blew their retirement community speculating on the stock market, but they're still there and they had to recover somehow, the whole bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and Carol, on the Robert Half subject, there was a lady who has attended in previous meetings from Robert Half, if you recall. If you have any of the older sign-up sheets, I don't remember her name, and I don't know, but anyway, we can look through maybe some of the old sign-up sheets, but that would be a way to, you know, an avenue in.
Well, I am working with one industry like that, one other industry like that I'm going to call back. And then Robert Half, I haven't called him in a while. And you're right, I do remember that lady coming, and I can probably pick up her name if I just call him.
Okay, yeah, I think she was doing accounting. I think she was deployed on an accounting
Right.
situation.
Because she did tell me, make sure you look at the site. She said we are listing different industries than just accounting.
Right.
All right. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, you guys. Okay, so, you know, I mean, just sharing a bit about what's frustrating to you, it helps to blow off that steam. It helps to really connect with that. I want to say that this group is one of the amazing resources, networking groups that I have seen. The ideas that you guys come up with, this group is so valuable, and more people need to be a part of it. Okay, because I see the ideas that are coming out of here, and this is exactly what people need. Hari, I love the different networking groups that you've talked about. Trent, you've talked about some amazing groups. Gordon, you are a wealth of information. I mean, you guys really have it down, and more people need to connect with this group. I'm going to be putting it out there as much as I can. What do you need to feel inspired again? You know, there are different ways that we can be inspired, and, you know, visualizations, if we're working with vision boards, if we're trying to do some guided meditations where we can connect with where we really want to be, those are some things that we can do within our own mind to be inspirational and to be inspiring. Separately from that, there is a wealth of TED Talks on YouTube, okay? And if you just have a particular topic that is interesting you, you could just Google it and go to YouTube and see if you're entertained by anything that anybody has to say about it. I find that, really being inspired is at our fingertips. And we really can find that inspiration by reading other people's stories, hearing about other people's stories, and moving forward from that in different kinds of ways. And then another part of this is just trying something new, anything. If you are stuck, the only way that you're going to move forward is to do something. And it doesn't even matter what you do. It doesn't matter how stupid it is just to like do something. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be job related. Okay. You know what? I'm going to have to stop sharing. I'm going to have to get back in. I don't know if it times out when I've been in it for too long. I'm wondering if that happens. So I'm going to get back in and I'm going to, okay. So
to echo what you just said, do anything, try anything. What it actually proves in the interview is that you're willing to learn. You're willing to try new things. You haven't frozen. You're not saying, well, I've been doing this for 30 years and I know how to do it. Everybody I hire into my teams, I've got to make sure that they're willing to learn. So that's what it does. Yeah, break the routine, do something. That's why it's so great when somebody goes and gets a leading edge book and actually goes through it. Now, I've also had people say, well, don't say you read books. People will think you're slow and lethargic because you don't look it up on Google. But read books too.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to plug a book also. The book I'm plugging, and I don't know if you can see it because of my screen, but it is Finding Your Own North Star, Claiming the Life You Were Meant to Live by Martha Beck. Martha Beck is a guru, does a lot of Oprah. You'll see her on a lot of different podcasts with a lot of different people. She's a Harvard graduate and scientific background who is now a life coach, okay? But what's fascinating about her is she brings a lot of really great exercises and ideas. And her book is chock full of exercises based on being in 4 different places within your development and in terms of making your dream happen, okay? And she talks about 4 different squares. And so I think that it's very interesting. Square 1 is death and rebirth. This could be losing a job. This could be being fired. Square 2 is dreaming and scheming, which is really planting these visionary dreams within your head and imagining this happening and making that very real. The 3rd square is the hero's saga, which is the work that you need to do to make it happen. And that's where we are in job search fatigue, okay? And square 4 is the promised land, which means, okay, you got there, now what do you do? And how do you not get in your own way with whatever it is that you're doing? I love the exercises and the creativity and the exercises in this book. And so, I just want to plant the seeds that, she has a lot of different exercises that can be done that help you connect with your wildly improbable goal, is what she calls it. And, I just like to bring this up because there's a lot of inspiring stories in here. There's also some really great to-dos, do something different is one of them. Go out and put yourself in an environment you've never been before and just immerse yourself in it. This could be going to a coffee shop that you don't normally go to. Go out in the community and connect with people you would never routinely see. That is one very easy thing that you could do that just might spark something different within your day. We're routine, habitual characters for the most part. We like our routines and we like what we do and we like the people we know. But, if you want to mix it up a little bit, go someplace that you have absolutely no idea where you're at and start talking to people. And there's a lot of different things we can do with that. What I want to talk about with this next slide is, reconnecting with your why and your values. When I look at a resume, I'm often looking at, why should we pay attention to you? What is it that you're going to bring us? And what does that look like, right? And so, reconnecting by asking yourself some of these questions, and I'm going to be sending a PDF of this presentation for you guys. Why is this work important to you? Why do you want to do what you want to do? What do you want out of this next position? And then we start looking at, how do you want to make a difference? This can be like, what kind of people do you want to work with? When we're in the business world, we say, who's your ideal client and why? What is your ideal job and why are you going for that? Is it because it's easy, because you've always done it, or is it because it's something that might stretch or challenge you? There's a lot of different reasons why we decide we want to go into the job that we're going into. And if you haven't fleshed through what that is, we can have, a 30-minute session. We can talk a little bit about that to help you be a little bit more clear, so that you can hit the bullseye and be more strategic and intentional in your job search, because that truly is what's going to get you a little bit closer to where you want to go. I also look at, what do you want to be spending your valuable time doing every day? I don't care how long you're going to live. Life is short. Our time is valuable. And we really need to think about how we're going to be spending our valuable time every day. And what do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be working with? What kinds of values do those people have? And are they in alignment with you? Where I go with that, I put in the chat the values in action via character strengths assessment. It's a free assessment. It can help you connect with your top values. Not that you don't have more than the 24 that they have in there, but this will help you to see what is really important to you. If you have honesty as a #1 value, you will not be able to be in a company that is not transparent in their integrity and working from an honest place. So, when you're looking at companies, you're really looking at Glassdoor, you're looking at Google reviews, you're looking at different kinds of things to really see what kind of company you're going to. That's in the most simple side of things, right? But if you have other values such as kindness and love, and how do you put those into business terms, you're looking for a company you can grow and develop with in a collaborative way, in a team that you can connect with. So it's really important for you to kind of look at these things. I look at creating your must-haves and your deal breakers from these questions. And your must-haves, they're the 5 things that you will need before you even apply to that position. You want to be sure those needs are getting met. This can be the amount of money you're going to make, that work schedule. This will be basic things: location, work, remote, hybrid. Your 5 deal breakers are going to be the reasons why you would leave. And these are the things that you're interviewing for. They're also the things that you're looking for that you might not be able to connect with as easily. So if I say my #1 deal breaker is, I will never work for a narcissist bully boss ever again, how am I going to know whether they're a narcissist bully? I am going to have to ask some really good questions through the interview process. And so having some of these things defined while you're in this job search fatigue, and make sure that you're defining that, is a way that you can support and help yourself when the time comes that you are interviewing and talking with these organizations, and you can then interview them as much as they're interviewing you. Okay. Feel free to spout out any questions that you might have. With a refresh, with an objective resume review, I'm offering to any of you 30 minutes for me to go through your resume and just see if there's anything that's jumping out at me that might not be adequately reflecting what it is that you're going to. So where I go with this is, you might be missing something you can't see. And, you know, maybe they're just not connecting with something about you. Maybe you've changed mid-job search and you haven't updated the profile to really say, this is what I'm bringing to you. Maybe you don't have a value proposition section on your resume, which is becoming more popular. Value proposition is a section that's replacing career highlights and achievements. And it's a little bit more bulleted out, geared towards past performance is the best predictor of future performance. This is what I have done, and this is what I can bring to you. It's a little bit more like immediate contributions I can bring to your organization. And it's a little bit more where the rubber hits the road with regard to spoon feeding them what you can do for them that they need you for. I help my clients with this quite a bit. And I also have, it's also interesting to put this in a cover letter because it really does capture attention with regard to cover letters. I find that a lot of people get burned out on this tailoring and optimizing their resumes, right? It's like, oh my gosh, how many times can I tailor and optimize my resume to this new position? If you align yourself with the positions that you're going more strategically, you are not going to have to spend as much time tailoring and optimizing your resume. You will have to still, you know, make sure you have those keywords and buzzwords for the particular industry that you're going into, because you might say it different in aerospace versus another industry, you know? So it's kind of interesting to just kind of be thoughtful about that. Jobscan.co is a resource, and I'll make sure that you guys have that. Jobscan.co is an optimizing resource that you can cut and paste your resume in, cut and paste the job posting, and you can see how well you meet the requirements of a position. What I love about it is they give you 5 free scans that you don't have to pay for, but it gives you a lot of planted food for thought where it thinks for you, where it will tell you, oh, these are some of the things that you're missing. Well, maybe you've done it, but you just don't have it in your resume. Those could be some keywords, some key skills, some things that you haven't included. There's a lot of food for thought in that particular online resource. And then I just kind of leave you with the who are you and what you do, why do you do what you do, and how do you do what you do? These are the reasons people are going to hire you, not just because of what you have done. So it's really important for you to really be thoughtful about that, and that in your resume, you are including that. In your cover letter, you're including that. In your LinkedIn, you're including that. Now, from a recruiting perspective, what I want to say about all of this is most people will go to your resume. If places are getting hundreds of them, you might anticipate, okay, you're being screened out by the ATS systems. That's happening with large volumes of resumes, right? The more specific you are as a fit with your qualifications to a position, the more they might pay attention to you anyway. And so I just say that also the higher level that you are, the more they're going to pay attention to you, even if you're parsed out, and they're going to want to see all of their candidates, because the recruiters know that the systems are screening people out that they can't see. So they may still do a second check back in. And if they do, you want to make sure that the why they want to hire you is right in the profile of your resume at the top. That everything they can see is in the top half of your resume. Another idea separate from this is WebRoot. Before they were bought, and they're a different company now, my client was a project manager in IT, and she decided she was going to apply for positions there. Their actual application process said that they wanted people to mail their resume in with a cover letter to the company because they were getting too many online resumes of people that were not qualified. So they sent the resume in old school. And that's the way they wanted to review their candidates, because if people were going to take the time to do that, they knew they were pretty interested and serious about the position. So I want to say, you know, things that maybe we used to do, you know, I'm speaking for myself, I'm going to be 54, with regard to sending resumes in that might be a part of your job search plan because not as many people are doing that anymore and they got to go somewhere and people are reading them. Okay. So I just want to say that's another idea. So, I'm happy to put that out there to all of you because having somebody see your search with fresh eyes in whatever way you can connect with them is going to help you do something differently or connect with something different. And that's powerful. Okay, I know that we're running low on time. Tell me about time if we have 5 minutes to kind of do a little visualization or if it's something that I need to send to you guys.
I'm good myself.
Ari?
Yeah, that should be fine. Thank you so much.
Okay. So where I want to go with this is, when you look at job search fatigue, people will say, take a vacation, take a break. Can you afford to do that? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you can take a break if you're hiking up into the foothills or you're going and doing, an amazing nature walk or you're getting outside because we can do a little more of that now with the weather here in Colorado. But sometimes you just have to take a break and re-energize in your own mind. Okay. So what I want to do with that, I'm going to take you to Shakti Gawain has a creative visualization book. And I'm going to take you just briefly to one of her visualizations that is creating your sanctuary. And what I want to say about this is we all have a very special place. You can see mine behind me, Kauai. We all have a special place where we like to go and we like to de-stress, re-energize, rejuvenate. If we can't do that physically, for whatever reason, we can do that in our own mind. And we can decide that we're going to take a break to do that and spend 5 to 10 minutes in that place in our own mind, even if we can't be there. Okay. And so what I want to say about that is just if you can let yourself get out of your head and the mental craziness of this job search and networking, and you can close your eyes for a moment and just relax in a comfortable position, very much like this gentleman who's sitting on this rock right now and contemplating the beauty and majesty of where he is. Imagine yourself in a beautiful natural environment. It can be any place that appeals to you. This is your place that you like to go, where you feel connected and whole, centered, and it just brings you so much peace. This can be in a meadow, on a mountaintop, in the forest. It can be on the beach, beside the sea, hearing the ocean and the waves lapping along the shore. Wherever it is, it should feel comfortable, pleasant, and peaceful to you. What I want you to do in your mind's eye, I want you to explore this environment with your senses. And I want you to notice the visual scenery around you. Pay attention to the colors of what you're seeing, the smells, the sounds that you're hearing. It could be a babbling brook. It could be waves lapping up on the shore. It could be the sound of beautiful birds chirping in the background. Any particular smells that you can capture. This could be a slight scent of plumeria or fruit from a nearby orchard. It could be the smell of the forest after a misting rain. Any feelings or impressions that you get of this location, just connect with this. You can do whatever you want in this place to make this a home-like and comfortable environment for you. And just surround yourself with the whole area. If there's a golden light, if there's sunshine shining on you, bask in its protection and safety. And you can do any kind of ritual that you might want to do in this place that helps you to establish this as your special place. This could be, skipping stones in the river and watching those puddles build up. It could be walking along the sand and feeling the sand in your toes, in between your toes as you're walking. Just feeling the ground in whatever way that you're feeling it on your feet, and that you are grounded, safe, and secure in this place. And it's a restful, peaceful place that you can always come back to, whether you have 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or even an afternoon to kind of live in this place. And if you can actually go there, don't feel bad about taking a day to make that trip and go there, or to take an afternoon to go there in this job search fatigue, because this is what you need to connect with to re-energize yourself. And so I just say that take a couple of deep breaths in and breathe out through your mouth. And when I count back to 1 from 3 is when you'll open your eyes again. So 3, you're feeling a little bit more in your body and your feet planted. 2, you're feeling a little bit more connected to this room and where you are. And 1, open your eyes and reconnect with the room where you are. How was that for all of you?
That was lovely. Thank you so much.
Just unplugging and stop searching, that we need to do a little bit more of. Even if we can make 5 minutes in our day to do that, it's really going to change your feeling of where you are. Finally, what I want to say is, when you are in this job search fatigue, you're building momentum, you're putting your irons in the fire, you're putting more darts on the board, okay? You are doing a lot of work putting yourself out there. It's kind of like planting seeds. And so our organic farmer can probably attest to this. You're planting seeds. You're not going to see them come up right away. You're planting your seeds, you're putting your irons in the fire, and this is going to generate what is coming into you. So know that as you are planting your seeds, you are building momentum, even if you cannot see it. And just keep energizing yourself to continue doing that, because chances are things are going to start clicking, and you're going to get all of those 3 phone calls at the same time, because that's the way that it happens. You're going to have all those crazy interviews in the same week, and you need to spend this quiet time preparing, because you will be there soon. And so I just want to say that, you also need to trust that you're going to be in the right place at the right time if you're doing everything that you need to do. And that if it's your job, it is going to be your job. okay? And you need to trust that rejection is protection. Some people know this from the dating world, okay? And I'm going to say looking for jobs kind of like dating. It's been a long time for me, but rejection is protection. If they do not choose you, you did not want that and it is not your job, okay? Your job is coming and you're getting closer to it. And the more that you're even a runner up for your job and the more that you start getting some interviews and some bites, closer that you're starting to get. Really, truly, if you're not seeing this momentum building and you've been in the process in a very hard way for 3 months, you need to call me and we need to do a 30-minute deeper dive into what could be going on with that. Okay. So what I want to say is I want to leave you with a little something. And this is a poem that I think is really appropriate for where people might be in their job search right now. You think you can define me, that I'm a tick in just one box, like my being is a door that a single key unlocks. But let me tell you something, I have the universe inside. I hold an untamed ocean with a constant changing tide. I'm home to endless mountains with tips that touch the sky, flocks of grand migrating birds and deserts harsh and dry. I house the wildest rivers and a host of sweeping plains. I feel in waves of sunshine or in unrelenting rains. Don't tell me that you know me, that this right here is what you are. I am the universe in motion, for I was born from stars. And there you go.
Thank you so much, Sheila. That was such a wonderful pause and break from our usual content and a very, very needed one. Really, really appreciate all of that you have shared with us.
Thank you. Thank
Do we?
you. I know it's a little bit different from a normal meeting, but
that's
you know
good.
what? But that's kind of why I'm here.
Mhm. Yeah,
To
no,
give you
Fantastic.
something a little different.
I love it. That
To
is so
stop
true.
thinking so hard. You
Yeah.
know, and this is what I want to say. Stop thinking so hard, everybody. We think we think that we need to think our way into that next job. Sometimes we need to stop thinking so hard and just be.
That is
And so
very
that's the seed I want to
wise.
plant.
Thank you. Very, very wise words. Very wise words.
You're
Awesome, you guys.
welcome.
Any questions for Sheila? I know we're a little bit late here in our time, but this was very well spent. Very well spent time. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sheila. This was wonderful. I'm going to stop recording now.
Thank you.